I think it's, I don't know what.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Top of the Morning Show. You have me, Isaac, with the infamous Miss Charlie.
Hey, I'm over here all pixelated for the moment. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, check out your internet latency, fam.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Go check
It'll
that out.
clear up. It'll clear up. Just give it
It doesn't look too bad on my end, though.
Oh, it looks really bad on my end. I don't know what it is.
No, it doesn't look bad on our end at all. Hey, whoever's just signed in, watching, Wagwan, what's good? What's your weekend been saying? Did you get laid or did you get paid?
What a question.
Do you know what? We might need to make that into something, you know? Over the weekend, did you get laid or did you get paid? That's a new one, isn't it? You like that one there?
That might be a sensitive topic because a lot of people have been getting laid off of their work.
No, not that kind of laid. You got laid or did you get paid?
I know what you meant, but...
That's right. You know what I meant. Sexual liberation and all of that. You get me?
All right.
Man's a part of that. You get me?
I'm dead. No, he didn't.
So, peoples, let's talk about this thing, Charlie, that you've bust me on still. I think I've got to say that on camera so that people know you kind of bust me on this app. Before I say the app, I did see you on Joe Budden's podcast prior to when you gave me the invite. So we're talking about ClubHouse, guys. For those that are not part of it yet, we're going to talk about it. Pros and cons, and then talk about the experience of being on ClubHouse and what it's all about.
Cool. So how do you break down what ClubHouse is? It's a new app and it is almost like it's an audio app. So instead of being something where you're looking at videos or you're looking at pictures and that type of thing, it's conversation rooms. And so, you know, you tap into rooms, you look at the headings, you like a room, you tap in, you get to listen. You can raise your hand and ask to be a speaker and be raised up to the stage and join in with the conversation. You can also create your own rooms. And then there's, you know, you can take it a step further and create your own clubs, to which is not just going to, you know, end as soon as everybody and you end it and come out. A club will last for as long as, you know, you go in once a week. It will last for as long as you keep going in. With you know, your topic, your heading topic. But I think the main thing about the app that I really like is one, that people are going into this app for so many different things that is so interesting. And there's always something that, you know, will catch your attention. And then the other thing, the flip side of it, is the networking side of it, which is amazing.
Networking side is banging.
Amazing, right? For me, I've seen groups like Igbo chat rooms, for all my Nigerians out there who know, or even all my Igbo Nigerians out there. I've been tapping into a couple of those Igbo rooms, or Igbo, if you want me to say it properly, chat rooms where I'm learning different things about my culture, learning different things about my background, my history, the spirituality that comes with my culture. Just having these conversations with young Nigerians that are my age and some older and possibly some younger as well, about, you know, the future of Nigeria and where it's heading. And it's just been really, really insightful and amazing in that aspect for me. I've really loved that. On the other side of that, I've been in some model chat rooms where there's like Tamira and like just like some really known plus size models giving really good advice, modeling and the industry and so on. Like you mentioned, I've been in music chats with the likes of Joe Budden and DJ Semtex and like so many other kind of musicianal type people, whether that be DJ or producer or artist. I was in a room last night, which was a jam session, which was amazing. Like,
right, okay.
Yeah, people playing music, just singing, just grooving, just jamming. and it was really good. But I think if you ask two people what they like about the app, they're gonna have different answers. Because a friend of mine was added roughly about 2 days ago, and his favorite thing is the affirmations, the morning affirmation groups that he finds.
Yeah, I've dipped into that one there quickly.
Yeah, and the motivational speaking groups that he's finding. And then like another friend of mine was in it. She's like quite high in the fashion world type of things. And she was like, she's always in the chats that are more about the fashion industry and that type of thing. But honestly, there's anything and everything. And if there's not, you can create it. So that's what I really like. I mean, I don't work for them. They don't pay me, but I really do love the app. I love it. So Isaac, what do you love about the app?
You know what I love about the app is that so far it's actually exclusive, and
Right.
I think that's such a genius thing about it, because so far I'm meeting a lot of creatives, and before the app blows up and becomes popular, I guess, I've been able to actually conversate with DJ Semtex when I was just like, oh, would you like to come on a podcast? And then he was like, mate, this is meant to be just for music. But you've shot your shot, so email me. But I had to. Do you know what I mean? I had to. Like, I see Semtex on Instagram. Like, I've messaged him. I don't get no response. And funny enough, he remembered when he must have realized who I was, because when I messaged him on Instagram, he responded on the normal timeline, not in the DMs, but in the normal timelines, like the comment section. And he kind of like, he acknowledged that who I was. Do you know what I mean? He remembered.
Right.
But like, there was a group of like 100 people in there, and it was going like person by person who wanted to play Semtex a new song, and it's every Thursday anyway. So I just stood in the queue like everybody else. When it was my turn, he goes, Isin at first. And I was like, no, it's ISN Network, ISN, because everyone just calls me Isin or Ish. You get me? But yeah, it was calm, man. It was calm. Like, he just kind of was just like, bruv, this is for artists. And I said, but I'm never going to get another chance to speak to you. So I've got a podcast. I do it with a lady called Miss Charlie. Would you be happy to come on? And he was just like, yeah, email me, whatever. So if it happens, bang. It's because of that. Joe Budden's podcast. But I also think that it's for people who really want to do podcasts, though. Like, I feel like if you're someone that likes to talk and you really want to be engaged and have something to say, because as I'm seeing the way people follow on Clubhouse, it's like, if you're very talkative and you have good points, other people will follow you. So then when you start making a room, those people will at least acknowledge to come in and have a look at what you're saying, which I think is great, which I think is something that Twitter doesn't offer. Do you know what I mean? I think the networking side of it is great. And yeah, you're speaking to people that you don't know, but it's like you're all just talking like you know each other. And after a couple of those conversations, it's like when I'm going into groups, I'm recognizing who's in those groups, and some of those people are recognizing when I'm in that group, and it's like hey kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's wicked. I probably would prefer the app to be like industry, not just music, but like industry kind of work related. I hope that it doesn't become too bait, because then once everybody gets into the... Have you seen any of the trolls on there?
No.
There's some guys in there that are trolls. They have like this they have this picture of like some ghost and one about some president or something, and not president, but some kind of governor in America.
Is it like on a black background and it's written and drawn in white? This little
yeah. And they come in and they go, yo. Bro, it's a joke. It's a joke. So I already know.
I've seen them in chats before. Like, I've seen their pictures in the chat, but I haven't never clicked on the chat that they're in. So
yeah. Yo, that's what they do. They come in. They want to come onto the table. They go, yo. Do you know what I mean? So
you can take them out of your group.
You can, yeah, but there's so many of them. There was I think 2 days ago there was like 30 of them that all came into the group that was in, and they were always asking to speak. Some of them cut through, and all you heard was yo, and then everyone got kicked out. So Yeah, joke thing. But
That's annoying.
I think it's wicked for networking, man. Like I've networked with so much people in the last 4 days, and I've got a lot of connections from there, and I'm really enjoying the app. I do think that it can take you away from reality because it's a talking app, so it's like you're not
Yeah.
even on the phone, but you're on the phone.
Yeah, it's like you're technically in a phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other day I went to my brethren's house, sat down. I was on the thing conversating with some black women about do black women have to be strong. It was over a 2.5 hour conversation that we had, about 20 of us, right? But for those 2.5 hours, my friend ended up sleeping because I didn't even engage with him because
Oh,
I was on the app.
no.
You
Yeah,
know what I
that's the
mean?
thing with it. I think you have to dedicate some time to it, but be strict with yourself. I think that's what I've learned from this first kind of like couple of, almost a week now.
Mm,
Um, I've kind of just learned that maybe I need to create my own club and just kind of log in at a certain time and talk about certain topics. Because I can't allow it to eat into my everyday, especially where we're working a lot from home and I have got work to do and I've got
mm,
my job and I've got other responsibilities and things that I'm doing. So I do have to kind of be strict with myself as to what time of the day and when and for how long I can be on the app, because it's so easy to just be really, really wrapped up and, just be eaten up by the algorithm of it. Just be going into new chats and new chats and new chats. And the more people you
listen.
follow, the more chats you're exposed to, so the more you can. And there's some really, really good chats on there. I was in one for trauma and psychology the other
Okay.
day. I was in one about like how to invest and first time buying.
Yeah.
And like, it's not just an app where you just follow your friends or you just follow like famous people because they're famous. Like I
Mm.
feel Haddish, but I think I've been in one of her rooms just for a couple of minutes, and it was more like funny and like conversational, but like comedy
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of.
cool. I was in one group with
Like,
Kevin Hart still.
oh, was you in that chat?
He
The
ended up
chat
he
where
ended
they,
no, he ended up coming into the chat that I was in. Because
yep,
you know that right now, because it's so tiny and all these
yeah.
Americans are kind of
I'm gonna ask you about that chat in a second. I want you to kind of tell me some stuff about it, but
okay.
yeah, so like I said, there's just the possibilities are endless, and if they're not there, you can create it.
Mm,
But at the moment, as the app is still being made around us, there will be like pretty much weekly updates on in certain parts, or the algorithm is learning and updating itself over and over. So
mm.
it will get better as the time goes on. But the fact that it's amazing so far already, my only question is to how will they monetize um, the what it would do and how it would affect somebody's mental health, because there's been loads of issues around Instagram and around other apps where it's like they're wanting to take away the like button because people are getting depressed and going on Instagram and seeing certain messages or seeing likes and follows and things like it can release hormones in your body that make you excited and make you happy, and when you have nothing else around you and that's the one thing you depend on and then you're not getting it, it can force you into some form of depression or induce some kind of mental health issue on some form of basis, because I don't want to generalize. But at the same time, I think with this app, it's only been a number of days and I haven't seen how it could have issues, but it may, and so I
I,
wonder how we're
I
gonna.
can see how it can have issues because if you're in a if you're in certain groups, right, and then they don't allow you to, I can see how like if they don't allow you to come and speak at the table, like when you raise your hand because you want to be part of the speaking crew,
Yeah,
I can see how that will affect people who won't be able to be part of the speaking crew when the hands have been raised. Like at the moment, my thing is like I got a mad tactic right now. It's like I'll go through the app, I'll see which groups are kind of because I get updates, and like if the groups just started, I go in straight away, and then I put myself as a like a moderator or a speaker. Then I might just come out, right? But then I know in about 25 minutes that group's gonna pop. But in 25 minutes they're gonna lock off all the moderators to come and speak. So it's like a little tactic that I'm using right now to for groups so that have an opportunity to
Have
speak.
the opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
I can see how that may be able to affect some people who may have an ego, who may feel like raw. I want to be able to have something to say, but because there's moderators
But
who
then
can.
also, just start your own group. Then start your own room.
Yeah, no, exactly. But you know, like
No.
for example, where that there's always gonna, like for example, when Lippy was on there, and all of these other like people from like some of the UK scene that are there, you can just see how the other people rush into those groups, and they may want to have something to say, but because there's people that are moderating the groups, I can see, and you know, it's not clicky yet, but you can see how it can become clicky, and
Yeah.
you can I can see how that particular thing of you're not being in the clique, or you're not being allowed to say what or not being able to speak can affect. Like even yesterday, I was speaking to like Alec Boateng, you know, the one that owns 0207 Def Jam, and you know, I never got to say what I needed to say, but it was just an honor to be in there with someone who's got UK Def Jam like as a label with him, Twin B, and his brother. There was a good, I don't know, like a good 150, but I was never gonna be able to get those gems that I got yesterday if this app wasn't available. Like for me, as a person that's wanting to get further into the industry, I'm able to just hear what these people have to say. And when I was speaking to the guy that owns the clubhouse, you know, when you the weekly group that they have, like for newbies,
Yeah.
he was like he's thinking about one way to monetize it would be to you know, for example, if you're like a Drake, you know, and you have like your group, you can charge people to pay to listen to you talk. Because this app is a lot for, you know, people who I think, in my opinion, you know, that have a voice or want to use their voice to spread positivity, but they'll naturally
Mm-hmm.
very think there will be negative people just come into groups and start talking about people, and that's always going to happen once they make it public. That's why I don't know. That's why I'm glad I'm in it now, because I can forge the friendships and the connections that I need if I decide that I don't want to be part of the app anymore. Because there's no
Mm.
quality control
Yeah. I
with the
think.
rooms.
Yeah. For people like me, I'm opinionated and I love to listen and I like to understand different people's perspectives. I also like to share my own knowledge and anything that I've learned or picked up over the years or whatever. So I love talking and I love chatting away and whatever, but actually I'm quite reserved and I am quite reserved from the beginning. So whereas, you know, Isaac, you have your tactic, which is to kind of like jump on the mic straight away and then kind of like bounce around and find where you want to be. It's a good tactic. I think for me, I'm very much more of a, I'm going to sit and listen for a minute. Let me hear what you're saying. Let me listen to what you guys are saying. Is it something I want to jump into? I'm not going to press mic just yet. And then maybe I'll scroll through the hallway again and have a look through another chat. And oh, they've said something I like. Let's open it up. Let's ask if I can chat. And then I'll be, you know, taken up to the stage where I can then talk on the topic or whatever. But like you've said, you do form these kind of like friendships that I don't really find that over Instagram, or I don't really find over you know, other so to be fair, I don't really use any other like much other social media platforms. I mean Twitter now and then, but I don't really form friendships over those things or connections or
I'd say
networks.
connections more than friendships, because I don't think I can say I've formed a friendship over there on Clubhouse.
No, not friendship, no. But
Connections, yeah, like
connections and
yeah.
networks, yeah. I mean, unless I already have, for example, I already have friends on there. So there's that difference, you know what I mean? But in this sense, it's really interesting because like you said, you go into groups and it's like, oh, Charlie's here again. Charlie was here last night or Charlie was here a couple of weeks back and we were a couple of days
Yeah.
back even. And you do kind of get to know people and recognize who's who and whatever. So I mean, it's really good. And I really, really like it.
I'm
So
grateful that you put me on still, because you could have put anybody else on. And
it's true. I've got some slack for that, you know. I've had a
did
lot of people
you?
cut me out for not inviting them. Yeah.
Swear down.
I was
Don't
like, I
mind
can't lie,
them. Don't
guys.
mind them. Don't mind.
I'm
Let
in
them
the
know that
network.
we're securing the bag. Let them know that we're securing the bag for top of the morning, and then we'll just get me. No, but on a real, like it's a wicked app. But I can see where mental health will start affecting people when some people can't join groups or join cliques or be a part of especially when the young kids. because at the moment it's a lot of industry stuff, it's a lot of mature conversations. But
Yeah.
once it filters through to like young 13, like teenagers, you know how they can be rude and cuss each other and be like, okay, now kick them out of the group and all of that stuff. I think that's where it will become a bit dangerous. And
Yeah.
as well conversations as well, because there was a pretend racist group that was run by black folk, right? And it was pretending to be white and pretending to be like, oh, we got these, these blackies taking over our jobs and blah. But you know what, the amount of white people that was in the audience just listening, yeah, was crazy. But it was run by black folk. It was run by black folk. It was black people pretending to be white and then saying all of these negative stuff, but they were there. What's the app called?
So
Ashley G.
we're talking about
It's called
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse.
Talking about Clubhouse. So Isaac, talk to me. So there was a chat that happened on Friday last week. And it was, is Kevin Hart even funny though? Or something like that, right?
Yes,
And
you
I
saw
joined
it.
But like my friend Reese was on there as well, and he pinged me to it, and he was like, "Shah, join this chat." I was actually in studio, so I was like in and out of the booth recording stuff, so I couldn't literally be on the app. But I tuned in for a minute, and it kind of seemed like Kevin Hart was on the app dropping some knowledge about the industry and so on and so forth. But then
It went left.
I then left the group chat, and apparently it did go
No worries,
left.
G. No worries, G. It's an invite
So,
only. It's an invite only thing, though, G. So you gotta find somebody who can invite you at the moment.
Ashley said Kevin Hart isn't funny no more.
That's exactly what somebody said in Clubhouse.
So talk about what was you in the group before Kevin Hart joined?
I was there. Do you know what? I was literally, as I got into the group, that's when the whole it bounced. So I got the rundown from everybody else in the group of what actually happened. By the time,
you know what, my friend Reese Miller, wicked artist. Check him out. And we've actually done an interview with him last year on Top of the Morning. He was in the chat before Kevin Hart came in, and then kind of saw it all the way through and was like, "Shah, it went mad. I wish he was there to speak though, because like these girls were just on some madness."
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, what happened? And then Twitter starts banging off, like, and then people are like, I can't talk on it because I have to be secretive to Clubhouse and the app, and I have to show my loyalty, and I can't bring out too much information about what was said. And I'm just like, is that how Clubhouse is doing now? Like, people don't want to talk about what was spoke. Is it almost like what happens there stays there type of situation?
I think maybe as well, because it's still. But I'll always sip some tea and drop the tea.
As we do. Okay, so what did you hear? Because I'm hearing over Twitter, he was being, he was.
Miss Charlie can't add you, bro, because she already added me. You only get one invite. That's it.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
It's only one invite.
Okay, so Twitter was saying that he was being sexist towards Black women and speaking down on Black women. Now, this is derived from his newest stand-up. I can't remember the name to it. It's on
the one on Netflix.
Yes. And they were talking specifically about the joke where he refers to his daughter having hoe-like tendencies, right?
Wow.
Yes. So he's talking. I'm not going to break down what the stand-up was because that's just long. Go and watch it if you're really interested. It is okay. It's. I wouldn't say it's the funniest one, but it is quite funny. Anyway, very, very, very controversial and borderline. Like, oh my gosh, did he just say that? But then what isn't? Actually, there probably is a lot of comedy that isn't. But anyway, I'm gonna stop waffling.
Dave Chappelle's like that, but obviously he doesn't talk. Yeah.
So tell me what you heard.
So I get in, right? And it's like, rah. There are like two people in there. They're like, oh, I can't believe he did that. They're two people that I've spoken to previously in other groups. So I'm like, yo, what happened? And they're like, oh, he came in here and then he was asking is he funny or is it that? And someone's like, you're not really that funny anymore or something like that. Because he was in the group. He was actually not on stage. Somebody added him. Somebody added him onto the stage, as I was told. So and that's why it's so small, because there's a lot of Americans, right, that are purposely just tapping into the UK groups to hear what we're saying all the time, because there's more Americans than British people. So anyway, Tutu's now, I guess, asked the question that somebody just says, you're not really that funny anymore. And I think he just gets really offended by it, and it just goes really left after that. I wish I was there to have heard the whole thing, but I only captured the bits at the end.
Oh, I really thought you were going to come true and give me some
Extra seat. But obviously, Reese can come on and give us the real gossip still. Reese can do that. But what I was told as well is that he's invested in ClubHouse. He's actually an investor.
I'm pretty sure. Do you know what? That wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Joe Budden was as well.
Yeah. But I mean, there's bare of them in there that probably are going to be that are invested in that. But apparently, the girl got kicked out of the group. That's what happened. The girl was like, "You're not funny anymore." So apparently, she was moved down. You know how? And this is what I'm talking about. The whole, if you're on the stage and there's moderators, they can mute you, they can take you off. It can get really embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. That's pretty much, that's where I got into it. That's where I got when I got there. That was all of that, and then obviously he was just getting rinsed in the group after that. Anyway, he didn't really survive the shame. He shouldn't have asked if he's asking if he's funny, and people are telling you not really funny anymore. You shouldn't really be getting offended. Shouldn't be asking people.
He didn't ask, "Am I funny?" The group was made. And they referred to him in the name of the group, saying, "Is Kevin Hart even funny though?" Oh. He didn't create the group. Somebody else created the group.
Yeah, no, I know he didn't create the group, yeah.
And, tapped into the group. And then eventually somebody brought him on the stage and they were already talking about him. But speaking of Kevin Hart anyway, like we spoke about ClubHouse. ClubHouse is an amazing app. I really love it. If you get the opportunity to be invited, it's amazing. Go for it. But Kevin Hart, have you heard the new stand-up?
I haven't. I'm not gonna jump on this propaganda of Kevin Hart's not funny anymore, but I've never found Kevin Hart truly funny throughout his whole career.
I've heard that from a lot of friends. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah.
But I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon because no one's ever asked me before, like off cam. But those that like Kevin Hart that I'm associated with know that I don't find him that funny. But he's making a lot of money. And if I consider him not being funny and he's making that much money, then I need to learn how to do that too. Do you get what I mean?
The thing is, I think like sorry, go on, carry on.
No, that's it. If he's making that much money and he's not funny, right? I can be just as not funny as he is and make half of that money and I'll be very happy with my life.
Do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I think Kevin Hart from this stand-up, I think it was obvious to see that there's been a shift in his character. I think, lately with this whole cancelling culture and, people really forming together to create big movements to cancel people, I think he almost feels pressured to have to watch what he's saying. And I think that his latest stand-up was almost in some kind of way testimony to that, because it was like you could tell that he was nervous. And he spoke on it. He didn't hide it. He spoke on how he was feeling. He spoke about, being dragged a bit by the community for things that had happened in the past and, feeling kind of like he can't leave the house since COVID and being like, am I going to catch the Rona again? Because he's already had it. And things like that. So he speaks on a lot. And then his stand-up is based in his front room. I don't know if the studio setup just looked like his front room or if it actually was in his house and in his front room.
Okay.
But he speaks about, not wanting to go out and enjoying the kind of smaller crowd and also feeling anxious about what he says and how people are going to, whether people are going to riot and protest about it or, And I think that just kind of goes to show that anxiety is something that he's probably struggling with or has been struggling with over this time, as well as everybody else that I've been speaking to during this time, who isn't in the limelight and, hasn't been dragged for their work lately, but is just going through this worldwide pandemic. So actually it brings him back to that human level for me, and makes me think, but once again, he says some really, really mad controversial stuff that, I know people aren't going to like, and he knows people aren't going to like. And once again, I'd say like Kevin Hart's first like big solo stand-up show for me was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't think he's topped that yet as a solo show kind of piece, stand-up piece. I don't think he's topped that yet for me. So is Kevin Hart even funny anymore?
That's how mad. I'm gonna put that in the caption now,
the topic. I mean, I feel for him, and I think he is still kind of funny, but and if someone was dragging him because all he talks about is family, it's like, but that's all
his
Kevin
reality
ever done. Like he always talks about family. On his first stand-up, I remember even talking about his ex-wife, about his dad, his mom, his kids. That's comedy, so I mean, don't drag him for that. If you don't like that, just don't watch it.
I really think that in this new era of cancel culture, sorry guys, I do think, like, for example, like comedians should be comedians shouldn't have censorship in their jokes, period. So whether you are any color or creed, once you're a certified or like a comedian by trade, you should be allowed to say what you like, because it's a safe space. It's jokes. Fair enough, but it's jokes. We all love Eddie Murphy's Raw. Like, I don't know about you, but listen, man, I'm not against going to a comedy show and hearing ignorant stuff from any person.
I'm not, but then I'm not for going to an event and hearing that really racist stuff. Or
I'm okay. It's a joke. It's comedy. There has to be a bit of an outlet. There has to be, because we all know we've all got little racist little jokes that we all like to. It's banter.
No. The difference is there's prejudice and there's racism. And I think I might have a parcel being delivered. 1 second, I have to hold that thought.
So Charlie's on Top of the Morning Live collecting a parcel. How unprofessional. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. While we're waiting for Charlie, do you guys think that racist jokes or banterful jokes shouldn't be used? Comedians shouldn't be allowed to use them. Let me know what you think. I don't have a problem with it. Do you have a problem with it? Let me know.
Okay, so we were saying, I think there's a difference between racism and prejudice. And I think the difference is that you can Google it and correct me in the comments, let me know, because there is an actual definition. But I think the difference is racism is something where you are in power to either physically do something about your prejudice, or you are in power to empower other people to, reinforce this idea of this racial prejudice, right? Whereas to just be racially prejudiced is to almost be like, I watched this thing on Instagram the other day, actually, and it was about somebody who's supposed to be like pro-black in America, and he'd gone on live, and there was another black young boy who'd come on the show to talk to him, and he just kept saying to him, "You're not African American. Where are you from? Which part of Africa are you from?" And he was like, "Look at your hairline. You're African. You're not African American. You ain't African American like me." He's like, "Look at your knuckles. They're dry and they're white. You ain't African American like me. Stop lying. Where are you from? Your eyes are yellow." All of these things. And it was just like, okay, that's racial prejudice. But at that point, that was racism, because you was on a live chat with how many viewers, and you are humiliating this guy, trying to force him to say that he is not African American, but yet he's from somewhere else. And then you have all of these lists of racial prejudices of why you think he's not African American. And it's all of these negative connotations because he has dry knuckles, because he has tough hair, because he has a fading hairline, because he has a chubby fit. Like, what has that got to do with anything? You know? And for me, that's like, that's a racial prejudice. And you know, that's the difference between racial prejudice and racism. Now, I think racial prejudice, okay, yes, to a degree. It's like, I understand that there's going to be a lot of comedy that's going to pull on them type of things. Like, I get it. Like, okay, Karen can't cook with seasoning. And okay, like, I don't know, so-and-so does whatever those racial prejudices are. I think we do need to be kind of sensitive because we are in this era of the internet age. Everybody's finding out things. Young people are watching these things, whether they should or shouldn't be, and they're really impressionable. And actually, we've seen from like elections and from adverts and from news and how the public react, we are all still impressionable, you know? So to a degree, yes, it does need to be censored, because if there was someone who went on there and was just like, yeah, I support the KKK, go and sign up to them. I think we should be, you know, marching down to these black people's houses and burning them down. It's like, okay, you telling me that shouldn't be censored because it's a joke? No, it's not a joke. You're basically riling people up. You're empowering these people to think that these things are okay and that these things are a collective thought and we all believe this and we all think this. So I think there should be some kind of censorship, most definitely. When it comes to prejudice as opposed to actual form of racism, it's different. But I do think we need to be careful still to some degree.
No, that's a valid point. I can't say that your point is invalid, but I'm definitely a comedian spectator of the old school, where the Bernie Macs, you know, they said some wild stuff.
Yes,
and it's just jokes, man. Like, you know, it's just jokes. Like, for example, could you imagine Bernie Mac today saying, "I'm gonna beat this child to the white meat shows"? Like, do you know what I mean?
But that's not racist or prejudice. Everybody's has
That's
white
wild,
flag.
though. That's child abuse, though.
It is, but like, this is not quite the same as the issue of Kevin Hart saying, if my son's gay, I'm gonna smash the doll's house over his head.
Hey, listen, to say that you're gonna beat your black kid to the white meat shows, you know, but children have died from abusive parents and stuff like that, and aunties and uncles.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just saying. But you know what? We're definitely gonna agree to disagree. But I'm not gonna agree to disagree. I'm just gonna say it's preference. Me personally, if I went to a comedy show, I want an uncensored comedy show. And I actually would prefer then maybe that Kevin Hart or further comedians are able to have shows where there's a censored and an uncensored version, and you decide which one you want to go to. Because I don't feel that your opinion should stop me from enjoying comedy the way I wish to receive it. Like if I go to a restaurant and I want my steak, I have a choice to say whether I want it rare, medium rare, done, well done, and extra done. Right? So if I like my comedy uncensored,
Done.
I should just be able to buy my ticket to get uncensored comedy. And those that will go, and those that won't go, won't go.
Can I just add, who goes into a grill house and says, I want my steak done, please?
Yeah.
Medium rare, well done. Not done.
Yeah, rare, medium rare, done, well done, and extra done.
I'm done with you. I'm done.
Oh, you're done.
I hear you. I hear you to that sense. I understand that. Okay, there's going to be different people who are going to want to hear different things. I get it. But actually, I do think, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? I just think, like, let's not have people's, like, you can't be out here really hurting a massive community of people. Like if there was a white supremacist comedian, do you think that he should be allowed to spread his hatred and his
Well,
racism?
he, Eddie, Eddie Murphy, Kevin Hart's not a black supremacist. So,
No, but I'm asking this question just in terms of what you were saying about
or what you
if
prefer to
people
go
want
to.
to
But I don't
go
think that
there.
a white supremacist can be a comedian. I don't think the two coincide.
But who knows? Because there are white supremacists who may not share their full opinions yet, or maybe censoring it because they know they can't share their true opinions and views. Because I'm just playing devil's advocate here in it. I'm not trying to prove a point. I'm just playing like just genuinely playing devil's advocate off of what we've been saying. Like, how do you then censor it, and what can you censor and what's okay and what's not? Because like I said, if you had a white supremacist who was claiming to be a comedian, but was then genuinely just bashing black people all the way through, it's like, okay, is that comedy or is that racism? You know?
Do you know what? To back my statement, those that want to go to white supremacist comedians shows and subscribe to that, it's better they go there and do that. And I see those in the line. So when I see them in the line, I know who is who and what's what. Because I just think that comedians in general should be allowed to be uncensored. I think that is the only kind of like genre or category or whatever you want to call it. We'll call it my ignorance because that's what I grew up on, and I'm being insensitive to sensitive topics in 2020 versus what I grew up on in the 90s, which I'm open to accepting that. But into how I like my comedy, I like my comedy uncensored. And I
You like
would
say,
wish that's it. And I would like it. I would like to consume the comedy that I like from the
yeah, fair.
comedians that are out there in the way I understand them to present their show, and they will never hear any bashing on the keyboard worrying on the internet that, oh my god, Kevin Hart said this, said this, said this. Do you know what I mean? And I think as well, for
You have to have
example,
skin if you're a comedian, really, don't you? Because you know, you're out here saying this stuff, you're gonna hurt somebody's feelings. You better just grow some thick skin because people are gonna come for you. This is like I said, we're in the information age, man. People will come for you
yeah,
over
but
the
if you
internet.
don't pay to subscribe to Kevin Hart's uncensored show, how are you gonna know? And if you hear it,
There will be reporters. People will
yeah,
be
so
out
people
here
will report.
talking.
But then again, if you wouldn't be able, fine, then whatever. But you know what? You wasn't invited to the show. You didn't pay your ticket, and you was already told that there was going to be a lot of abusive language and whatever in the show. So it's for you to decide, especially if you paid. If you're watching it on Netflix and you've paid your subscription money to Netflix and they're putting on an uncensored Kevin Hart comedy show, then yeah, you have a right to have an opinion because you may not want your children to watch that. I understand that. But I'm talking about live shows where I'm having to pay to go and watch this person talk. I should be allowed to consume my comedy the way I wish to consume it. And then I should be able to buy the DVD from Kevin Hart's website. I should be
I
able to,
mean, that's what people should do. Go and pay for it like that.
yeah, pay for it on
I
Kevin
mean,
Hart.
I don't know. I can't agree on this one, so we're gonna have to agree to disagree. But okay, I understand and respect your
But
opinion.
it's like drugs. Do you know what I mean? There's so many drugs that shouldn't be allowed to be sold in the open market, and they are. Those that want to buy coke and go with their coke friends. Those that want to buy weed, get weed and go with their weed friends. Those that want ecstasy, get ecstasy and chill with their ecstasy dons. If I want to hear some uncensored, funny BS from Kevin Hart or any other of these comedians, leave me and my uncensored friends that want to hear uncensored jokes to consume it. And the beauty about it is that you're going to get white people that are going to get cussed by Kevin Hart. You're going to get black folk that are going to get cussed by Kevin Hart. Chinese people. Well, say Asian in general to just fulfill the whole thing there. And they're, all those people are going to be there. And they're going to all like going to enjoy being slaughtered by Kevin Hart by the funny jokes. We're all going to laugh and we're all going to go home and we're all going to be in a crowd. Let's not make no mistake that Kevin Hart has a variety of fans.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That are have the same thinking as me. So leave it be.
Yeah.
Leave us to enjoy it.
It is what it is, isn't it? It is what it
I mean,
is. It is. It definitely is what it is.
R.I.P. Bernie Mac, man. You want some milk and cookies?
Right. Well, on that note, was there any other topics you wanted to touch on today? Or viewers, let us know if there's anything you wanted to add or touch upon today in the comment section.
Don't know.
And we'll get right onto that.
I don't know.
But we have spoken about a lot today. We've spoken about ClubHouse. We've spoken about
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Censorship.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, do you know what else we was going to talk? Nole released a new track.
I need to hear it properly. I need to digest it. I think we should talk about it tomorrow when I give it one more. I need to give it one more.
Want to give it one more listen?
Just one more digest.
To which it wasn't a reply. It's not a battle, is it? It's just a song, right?
Boy, I haven't heard it properly. I played the first 30 seconds, and I started ringing everybody off saying, "Oh, Nole, have you heard it?" And I'm so silly that I called everybody else to listen to it, and then I went back on ClubHouse.
Fair enough.
So I need to give it a proper listen.
Fair enough. Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Cool.
Chipmunk released his daily duppy last week, Friday or Thursday?
Yeah. I thought that was average.
Do you know what? I liked it. I really liked the video. I think they were smart to put up the lyrics and stuff like that. And
They do that all the time on the daily duppies, babe. All the daily duppies are like that.
I swear down, I didn't notice. I don't really watch them that often.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
I've heard a lot of daily duppies over like Spotify and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
Video, do you know what I mean? I don't really.
That's the format for all of them. Besides the fact it was black and white for Chipmunk.
I like that though, because I think with Chipmunk especially, a lot of bars go over people's heads.
Yeah. I mean, he's not the only one. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Jeez.
Yeah, the only one that's got bars, you know.
Oh my goodness, all right, mate. But no, on the real, it was all right. Yeah, it was all right.
I thought it was average.
Birthday, innit?
Yeah. Turn 30.
A little birthday thing.
Yeah, I thought it was average.
He referenced Fatch and his video. You know, we out here, we love Fatch.
Shout out to Fatch.
Yeah. So so let us know your thoughts, and we will be back tomorrow.
Shit, Stormzy went platinum over the weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Heavy's the Head. Platinum selling album.
Yes, big up to Stormzy.
Shout out to Big Mike, man. Nice. All right, cool. So we'll do this again tomorrow.
Yes, we will be back tomorrow.
Cool. People. Peace. I'm still trying to find where the camera's there. Peace.
All this time.
I didn't know. All right, cool.